تظاهرات در مقابل مقر ملل متحد در نیویورک علیه حضور آخوند روحانی در مجمع عمومی 29 شهریور 1396. فراخوان به اخراج رژیم رکورددار اعدام از ملل متحد، دادخواهی قتل عام 30,000 زندانی سیاسی در سال 67 و محاکمه عاملان نسل کشی و جنایت علیه بشریت.
مردم ایران قربانی خشونت رژیم ایران بودند. 4,000 نفر در دوره روحانی اعدام شدند، بیشتر از دوره احمدی نژاد. بیشترین تعداد اعدام‌ها نسبت به جمعیت در جهان. اعدام مخالفین، زنان، اقلیت‌ها. این تظاهرات در 29مین سالگرد قتل عام 30,000 زندانیان سیاسی در ایران برگزار می شود، از جمله تعداد زیادی از مجاهدین خلق که قربانی این قتل عام بودند. همچنان همان قاتلان در رأس حکومت هستند و بسیاری از وزرای کابینه روحانی عضو کمیته‌های مرگ بودند. مردم ایران آماده تغییر نظام هستند. در ایران 11,000 تظاهرات و جنبش اعتراضی از اقشار مختلف جامعه بودند: معلمان، دانشجویان، کارگران و مالباختگان. امروز یک نمایشگاه خیابانی خواهیم داشت که نشان دهنده اعتراضات عمومی در ایران برای تغییر نظام است. هزاران اعتراضی که در ایران علیه رژیم رخ میده، ما اینجا اومدیم که از اونها حمایت کنیم. درسته؟ همچنین سخنرانان برجسته‌ای خواهیم داشت که فراخوان خواهند داد از سازمان ملل و دولت آمریکا برای اتخاذ یک سیاست درست در قبال رژیم ایران. این برنامه به طور مستقیم پخش میشه تا مطمئن بشیم که دنیا بفهمه که مردم ایران خواهان تغییر رژیمه. یک تغییر دموکراتیک در ایران. این است خواست مردم ایران.
Distinguished guests and defenders of democracy, we join you today in your call for human rights and democracy in Iran as representatives of the Youth Leadership Council for a Democratic Iran. Amongst those of us standing on stage, some of us were born and fled Iran at a very young age owing to the rampant political persecutions that followed the so-called Islamic Revolution in 1979, while others are first-generation Americans who, because of the state of repression that exists inside Iran, were born into exile. As many of you are aware, in the past several months, new and undeniable evidence regarding the current Iranian regime's role in the 1988 massacre of political prisoners has come to light. Many of us are students holding on to distant but fond memories of family and friends whose lives were abruptly and unlawfully cut short at the hands of the criminals in power in Tehran. It is heartbreaking to confront the horrific reality that most of those 30,000 who were executed in the summer of 1988 were no older than we are now today. the Iranian regime, still holding power in Tehran, oversaw and continues to oversee the executions of minors and specifically children as young as 13 years of age. We've ourselves experienced the untimely loss of parents, uncles, aunts, and family friends whose so-called crimes were nothing more than distributing opposition newspapers or voicing dissent amidst the increasingly repressive atmosphere that followed the revolution. In light of Iran's 2009 uprisings, in which students like us demonstrated their utmost bravery and devotion to democracy for pouring into the streets and calling for free and fair elections, it is beyond comprehension why the international community has persisted in its appeasement policies vis-a-vis the ruling theocrats in Tehran. We are here to denounce their silence and, most importantly, the false choice that is too often presented between appeasement and war. We are here to object to the increasing and alarming rates of political and juvenile executions in Iran, the rampant exploitation of child labor, the selling into slavery of young girls and boys, as well as the economic corruption that has led so many well-intentioned families into the desperate straits of impoverishment. In so doing, we stand in solidarity with the domestic student struggles in Iran, with the young nurses and teachers who routinely go on strike, with the underage and underpaid workers who go to bed hungry at night, with the persecuted minorities who are denied their customary ways of life, and with the some 60 million Iranians who are under the age of 30 and yearn for a say in the future of their country. By voicing our solidarity, we do not wish to take their place, but rather call on the United Nations and defenders of human rights to support the people's opposition movement so that the space for democratic exchange and debate may be fostered for young Iranians in our lifetime. On a more personal note, many of us were ourselves born following the 1979 revolution, and due to the political persecution imposed on our families, have not yet had the chance to see the cities and towns where our parents grew up. We salute the people's resistance for their determination and their efforts, and we sincerely hope that one day soon we shall rejoice and celebrate the renewal of human rights, freedom, and democracy together in Iran, in a free Iran. Free, free Iran! Free, free Iran! Free, free Iran!
Free, free Iran! Free, free Iran! Free, free Iran!
Our next speaker is Ambassador Terzi, former Italian foreign minister, and also served on as Italy's ambassador to the United States. He stopped by to attend the event, but we've asked him to say a few words. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Ambassador Terzi.
Dear friend, it's such an extraordinary pleasure and an honor to be in front of you today, because it reminds me when very recently I have attended a much larger gathering, but maybe not as close to the United Nations as it is your gathering today, and was your convention, your yearly convention in Paris last July. And that meeting was extremely important because it gave, in a way, a mandate to all associations, persons of goodwill, NGOs, and the people of Europe to raise forcefully everywhere, but especially here at the United Nations, the abominable massacre of 1988, with the killing and the tragedy of 30,000 mujahideen and make people like you in Iran because of a fatwa of the Ayatollah Khomeini. And this is something which must not be forgotten by the international community, which is convening today here at the United Nations. And it is the responsibility of the United Nations to open up an international committee of inquiry to look immediately and with firmness into this incredible crime against humanity perpetrated by the mullahs.
All we want is the safety of our people. And we are willing to pay any price, no matter how many years, no matter what it takes, to have Iran join the family of free nations and not lose another generation of the Iranian people. There are many who speak of Iranian freedom, but only one who can lead, who has the strong voice, the character, the commitment to freedom and liberty, and the defense of the defenseless. You are now going to hear a message from Maryam Rajavi, the leader, the only legitimate leader of Iranian freedom. Thank you. Rajavi, democracy, freedom, with Maryam Rajavi. 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 Democracy, freedom.
Fellow compatriots, supporters of the Iranian resistance, I salute your protest and perseverance, which is a source of pride for the Iranian nation.
رئیس جمهور برگزیده مقاومت در پیام خود به هموطنانمان در تظاهرات در مقابل مقر ملل متحد در نیویورک گفت: هموطنان عزیز، یاران مقاومت، به تظاهرات شما و به ایستادگی شما که مایه سربلندی مردم ایران است درود می‌فرستم. از شخصیت‌های بلندپایه‌ای که برای همبستگی با مقاومت مردم ایران در این اجتماع حضور یافتند سپاسگزاری می‌کنم. اجتماع امروز شما هم فریاد مردم ایران است، هم صدای جامعه بشری است که به پذیرش رئیس جمهور یک رژیم ضد بشری در مجمع عمومی ملل متحد اعتراض می‌کنند. امسال رئیس جمهور رژیم در حالی در مجمع عمومی شرکت می‌کند که گزارشگر ویژه ملل متحد درباره وضعیت حقوق بشر در ایران در گزارش خود برای نخستین بار فاجعه قتل عام زندانیان سیاسی در ایران را مورد توجه قرار داده است. گزارشگر ملل متحد با یادآوری اعدام هزاران زندانی زن و مرد به فتوای خمینی و دفن آنها در گورهای جمعی و نامعلوم خواستار تحقیقات مستقل و مؤثر درباره این جنایت و افشای حقایق شده است. این گزارش که همراه با یادداشت دبیرکل به مجمع عمومی ملل متحد ارائه شده از دستاوردهای جنبش دادخواهی قتل عام شدگان و جوشش خون 30,000 سربدار مجاهد و مبارز است. این گزارش در عین حال سند معتبر دیگری است که پذیرش رئیس جمهور رژیم در ملل متحد را به چالش می‌کشد. حرف ما و مردم ستمزده ما این است که رئیس جمهور نظام قتل عام را از ملل متحد اخراج کنید. اجازه ندهید تریبون سازمان ملل بلندگوی دفاع از دولت حامی تروریسم و استبداد وحشی آن باشد. خانم رجوی در بخش دیگری از پیام خود به تظاهرات نه به روحانی در نیویورک گفت: در دوره اول همین آخوند روحانی بیش از 3,000 نفر اعدام شدند. در همین دور اول بودجه جنگی رژیم بیش از همیشه بالا رفته است. آخوند روحانی هر سال بخش بزرگی از درآمد کشور را برای کشتار مردم سوریه و دخالت ویرانگر در عراق و سوریه هدر داده است و حالا در دوره دوم او کابینه خود را از کسانی تشکیل داده که یا در هیئت‌های مرگ در قتل عام زندانیان سیاسی عضویت داشتند یا از بالاترین مقام‌های وزارت اطلاعات یعنی وزارت شکنجه و کشتار بودند. و مهمترین تعهدات چنین کابینه‌ای گسترش برنامه موشکی و افزایش تولید سلاح برای ادامه جنگ و تروریسم در کشورهای منطقه است. ما تأکید می‌کنیم تا زمانی که در سطح بین المللی از جمله در ملل متحد درها به روی قاتلان مردم ایران باز است، آنها به نقض حقوق بشر و جنگ افروزی ادامه می‌دهند. زمان آن است که جامعه جهانی به ویژه دولت‌های غرب به امتیاز دادن و نرمش در مقابل رژیم ولایت فقیه و بیعملی و سکوت در مقابل جنایاتش در داخل و خارج ایران نقطه پایان بگذارند. رئیس جمهور برگزیده مقاومت تاکید کرد رژیم آخوندی در وضعیت بسیار ضعیفی قرار دارد و بیش از هر زمان محتاج رابطه با کشورهای غربی است. انتظار مردم ایران این است که دولت‌های دموکراتیک در جهان هر گونه معامله اقتصادی با این رژیم را به توقف شکنجه و اعدام مشروط کنند. قتل عام زندانیان سیاسی در سال 67 را به عنوان جنایت علیه بشریت به رسمیت بشناسند. ملل متحد یک کمیسیون مستقل تحقیق در مورد قتل عام 67 تشکیل دهد و شورای امنیت با تشکیل یک دادگاه ویژه یا ارجاع قتل عام 67 به دادگاه جنایی بین المللی ترتیبات محاکمه سران این رژیم را فراهم کند. همه دولت‌ها و به ویژه ایالات متحده باید راه هر گونه معامله با سپاه پاسداران را ببندند. بله، تنها راه حل مشکلات در خاورمیانه خلع ید از این رژیم در عراق و سوریه و یمن و اخراج پاسداران است. البته خواست ملت ما به زیر کشیدن ولایت فقیه است و همچنان که مسعود گفته است تا وقتی که این رژیم هست قبل از هر چیز سرنگونی حق مسلم ما و خلق ماست. خانم رجوی در پایان این پیام خطاب به هموطنان شرکت کننده در تظاهرات نیویورک گفت مردم ایران بیش از هر زمان دیگری خواستار تغییر اساسی هستند. برای رسیدن به این هدف امروز مسئولیت بزرگی متوجه یک به یک شماست. به کارگیری فرصت‌ها و تبدیل آن به نیروی مؤثری علیه رژیم ولایت فقیه کاری است که تنها به دست شما ساخته است. بیش از هر زمانی تعهد پذیری و تلاش شما تعیین کننده است.
Leveraging opportunities and transforming them into an effective fighting force against the regime is something that could only be done by you. And today,
good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my hometown, New York City. When I look up, I see all these wonderful signs. They're all wonderful, but the one I like the best says, Free Iran. Free Iran! Free, free Iran! Free, free Iran! Free, free Iran! Free, free Iran! The Iranian people are a great people, but right now they are being kept down by leadership that strangles them. And this terrible regime that strangles the Iranian people has got to end, and the sooner the better. Regime change in Iran! Change, change, change! Regime change in Iran! Change, change, change! Regime change in Iran! Change, change, change! Regime change in Iran! Now, when you look at Iran, the government of Iran, the illegal government of Iran, what they do is they provoke war and hatred and support terrorism. Hezbollah is a terrorist group. We are not going to stop until the Iranian people are free once again. Now, I can tell you that you have a lot of friends in the U.S. Congress on both sides of the aisle. And I can tell you nothing gave me greater pleasure just within the past year to go to Tirana, Albania, and meet the people from Camp Liberty, help get them out to make sure that they were safe. I'm very pleased that we were able to do that.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your courage. I want to tell you that as long as I'm in Congress, and I've been there for 29 years, I will continue to fight for freedom for the Iranian people. Continue to say. So I say to the Iranian government, to the mullahs in Tehran, to the people that don't allow the Iranian people to breathe free, let's have a fair and free election in Iran. Let the Iranian people decide who they want to represent them and what kind of a government they want to have. And I'll bet you if they have a chance to vote, it won't be a theocracy. It won't be the kind of group and office that's been foisted on them now. It'll be a democracy just like we have here in the United States of America. Every day, people are being executed in Iran for being political prisoners, for speaking their mind. We say that these kinds of executions need to stop, and the alignment with the Tehran regime with terrorism has got to end, and the sooner the better. Now, I'm sure you all know that 2 years ago, when we had the opportunity to vote on the agreement between Iran and the United States and the other nations, the 5+1, I was very, very proud to vote against that agreement in the United States Congress. It was well-intentioned. But when you look at the agreement and you read the agreement, you see that it doesn't prevent the Iranian regime from having a nuclear weapon. So I want to make you this pledge. I want to pledge to you that I will work with all my colleagues on both sides of the aisle, work with all the government officials, keep the pressure on the regime which hurts the Iranian people, and continue to demand that the Iranian people have the same rights as the American people, a free and fair election showing what the Iranian people really want. Only then can change come from within. And I have no doubt, if and when that referendum is held in Iran, we will be able to go to Iran and watch the Iranian people in a democracy, not in a government that hurts them, kills them, does everything that's bad for them. We have to say that the United States must always stand with the freedom-loving people of Iran. I want to pledge to you that I will continue to fight for a free Iran, will continue to fight for all the things we want. And I want to thank all of you for your great courage in coming here and saying free Iran. God bless you and God bless the Iranian people.
change! Regime change in Iran! Change, change, change! Regime change in Iran! Change, change, change! Regime change in Iran! Change, change, change! Regime change in Iran! You'll understand it now. The American coalition against the mullahs, the coalition for Iranian freedom in America is broad and it is deep. It is Democrats, it is Republicans, it is the left, it is the right. It is strong, and there is no better example than that, than one of the first voices to rise in America for Iranian freedom, a friend of the expatriate community and of every freedom-loving Iranian, the former American ambassador to the United Nations, John Bolton.
Thank you very much. Well, it's a pleasure to be here today. The only cloud in the sky really is that Rohani is addressing the UN General Assembly, but I predict in short order somebody that this group wants to represent Iran will speak for Iran in the United Nations. I think it's important that we stress the urgency of getting the mullahs out of power in Tehran. My suggestion is that the motto should be that the regime will not celebrate its 40th anniversary in 2019. I think it's very important that the United States declare as its official policy that the regime in Iran needs to change. I think the world needs to hear this with clarity. And I think President Trump laid the groundwork for that announcement in his speech to the General Assembly yesterday when he stressed that the prime victims of the regime in Tehran were the people of Iran themselves. This is a critical statement by the President because any regime that's as murderous and totalitarian as this regime is cannot possibly have international legitimacy. Legitimacy only comes from the voice of the people. That's what real national sovereignty means. Now, of course, President Trump covered many other things in this speech yesterday, which I said and do believe was the best speech of his entire presidency. And it was so important. That's a nonpartisan observation, of course. It was so important that he put the threat posed by the Tehran regime and its nuclear weapons program and its role as the central banker of international terrorism right in the center, along with the nuclear threat of North Korea. We can talk a lot about the Iran nuclear deal, but the fact is the cooperation between the regime in Tehran and Pyongyang has been close for many, many years. And whatever accomplishments North Korea makes in the nuclear and ballistic missile field, the Ayatollahs can have the next day by writing a check that's large enough. That's where the real threat comes from, and that's what I think the world needs to understand. There are not two separate problems here, the North Korean problem and the problem of the Ayatollah's regime. They are basically the same problem. The axis of evil is not a metaphor, it's a reality. And I think we've seen this for a long time. You know, the mullahs got their first missile capability 25 years ago when North Korea sold it to them. They've worked together with North Korea on expanding and enlarging and increasing the capability of their missile forces for the entire period of time since then, including in 1998 in particular, when North Korea declared a moratorium on launch testing from the Korean Peninsula. They simply shifted their missile program to Iran, and why not? The objectives of the missile programs are the same. But the point is here that the proximity that North Korea has achieved to being able to deliver nuclear weapons to any target that it chooses around the United States demonstrates just how grave the challenge is. And so in many ways, although the media are focused on the threat from North Korea, this is a threat from the Ayatollahs. And it's not simply what they're doing on the nuclear side or in the abstract their financing of terrorism. Even as the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria is defeated, the Ayatollahs have increased their control over the Baghdad government. They support the Assad regime in Syria. They've been funding and arming and equipping Hezbollah to greater extent than they ever have before. So the threat of the entire Middle East is very much at stake now. And I hope that President Trump's speech yesterday sends a clear signal to those who are aiding the regimes. The only acceptable future, the Iran deal that President Obama and the other permanent members of the Security Council negotiated 2 years ago, is not just a badly negotiated deal, it is a threat to international peace and security all over the world. It's not a deal that you can strictly enforce. It's so badly negotiated, it's like trying to nail Jell-O to a wall. The president's coming up on a key decision. There are reports this morning he said he's made the decision. This is what the decision ought to be. The United States should abrogate the nuclear deal. The president shouldn't just decertify it. He should get out of it and create a new reality so that we can take whatever steps are necessary to prevent Iran from achieving this nuclear capability that the regime has sought. And ultimately, the safest way to guarantee peace internationally, peace in the Middle East, peace for the people of Iran, is to overthrow this regime and have a free and fair election.
Change! Regime change in Iran! Change! Regime change in Iran! Change! Regime change in Iran! No! Rajavil! Yes!